Mental health, I would say, is it encompasses the emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Yeah, and WHO defines it as a state of well-being, which the individual realizes their abilities and they can cope with the normal stresses of life.
Pearl Radio, the home of fresh and classic hits.
My name is Agnes Kahero, the cheerleader, you know that one?
Yeah.
The one who is at the very front line.
Yes.
He is. And I am a mother of 3 amazing young adults and a preteen. And I am a born-again Christian. I am a counseling psychologist.
Okay.
Sometimes they call us shrinks.
Shrinks.
So I'm a shrink.
Wow, you shrink our memories and our minds and just get us work. Shrinking means you shrink the issues. What does it usually mean? That's what it means. Shrink. There's a shrink. I've only met that name on movies. You know, this is a shrink. I'm going to my shrink. Blah blah blah, etc. What you haven't said is that Pastor James is your permanent. That's your permanent.
You see, when I said he's the one who is usually at the front line of cheerleading for me. That's another way of saying it. That is my poem, permanent, verified and all.
Okay, not just Gen Z wanajua hiyo permanent. Easy. Wanasema mazi permanent for better for worse for life.
Na hivyo ndivyo nilisema hata kama mimi si Gen Z. For better for worse.
Awesome.
For richer for poorer.
Yeah. But kizo wamebadilisha. Wasema for better for better. For richer.
Well.
You know, in health and health. But, they're not ready.
Watajua
hawajui. Awesome. Karibu sana. Now, as we dive onto the matters mental health, first of all, what is mental health?
Mental health, I would say, is it encompasses the emotional, psychological, and social well-being. Yeah, and WHO defines it as a state of well-being, which the individual realizes their abilities and they can cope with the normal stresses of life. You know, life in and of itself is very stressful.
Yes.
And the years I've lived, I think the older I grow, the more stressful it becomes. There are many stressors in this life. So that space of being able to handle and to cope, it means you are in a good space in terms of mental health.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is there good mental health and bad mental health? A mental health, how do you define the positive one? And Ilambo is not okay.
You see, when you say mental health, you're talking about mental health generally, whether good or bad. But now when there is a problem, we say there are some mental health disorders or mental health issues. Yeah. So when we say that, we mean that there is a problem that needs to be addressed. So if you're in a good state of mental health, you're saying you're mentally healthy.
You're mentally healthy. All right. And if you're in a bad state, you're mentally unhealthy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, specifically talking about men, because there was research that was done the other day, and it shows that there are more men in Nairobi. Increasingly, they're getting into mental health issues, mental health problems. What are some of the reasons why, men don't like, speaking out their issues out there, especially just because of being men?
Okay. I have the advantage that I am speaking to a man here in the studio. Yeah, but this man is mentally healthy.
I believe so. Mtu haezi jua. Oh, but that's another. Can you know whether you're okay or you're not okay?
Oh yeah, there are symptoms that you would be on the lookout for. But first things first, you asked some of the reasons why men become mentally unhealthy. First of all, I think the biggest problem we have to blame is the gender stereotyping. We grew up being told, be strong like a man. If you see a boy child crying, you're telling them, Are you a girl?
Yeah.
Don't cry. Men don't cry. You keep telling them, please man up. There's nothing like that. Yeah. And if it worked for them traditionally, it doesn't work now. That world is not here now. Men are they are human beings. So men and women alike, can have mental health issues, because even men have emotions. So I would say, instead of telling a man to man up, I tell them to speak up.
But isn't that what differentiates between a male and a female? Like, men are supposed to be, strong emotionally, ndio wale wa kushikilia na kubeba, the other gender. Isn't that how it's supposed to be?
Everyone is supposed to be strong emotionally when they are able to be strong emotionally.
Okay.
There are times that you cannot be strong emotionally, depending on the things that are happening around you, the circumstances.
Yeah.
And you do not owe anyone any strength. Yeah. Because you see, the societal norms, they make us think that men are some rocks, which is not the case. Men have emotions as well. Yeah. And here and now, I would want to tell the men out there, it is okay not to be okay. To wake up in the morning and feel, I am not okay. They are humans.
Yeah.
And so it's okay for them not to be okay, but it is not okay for them to stop at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. When they realize they are not okay, they need to take a step.
All right.
Yeah.
So what are some of the common mental health issues that affect men?
Okay, Dan, allow me to say that just like women, men and women experience the mental health disorders. Yeah. It's only that for women have outlets, many outlets.
Yeah.
Actually, as I was doing a little bit of research about men and mental health, I saw that women are actually more prone to mental health issues than men. It's only that women are more likely to seek help when they realize they have issues. But now the men, even when they realize they have mental health issues, they would rather do what we call sublimate. Sublimate is to change to another direction. I am dealing with this. I am feeling depressed. So what do? I will turn to substance abuse. Or they turn to self-destructive or self-harming activities. When they realize they have stressors, they have depressive moments, instead of looking for help, they will shut down, and then they might turn to alcohol or whatever other substance. And that in and of itself is a problem, because you see, if a man is depressed and they drown into alcohol, they are just making things worse. They're not making anything better. And so it will be a downward spiral. And that is why we say it is okay not to be okay. And asking for help is not a weakness. It's actually a strength.
Now, in the aspect of asking for help, because who do you ask for help? Do you just go to anyone asking for help? There's somebody we were talking about this last week, and he said, at some point I was really down. I went to my wife. I was broken. I became very vulnerable before my wife. But after that, the way my wife started looking at me, ilibadilisha, that I can never be open and vulnerable to my wife.
Wow, that is sad. But that we wouldn't altogether say that they cannot seek help from their spouses, because I am thinking, I have a spouse. And I think I have seen him at his best. I have seen him at his worst. But what has remained constant is that I am present, and I may not be able to help to 100% help him with the issues. But there will be that, what about if we do this? What about if we speak to so and so? What about if we take 1, 2, 3 steps? So if it does not work, if you know that your spouse is not the person who you would go to, there are other family members. You can identify a family member who you can speak to. You can identify a friend, or you can identify an authority that you look up to, like if you go to church, you can speak to a pastor. And also, you can speak to a therapist, a counselor. You can go to a counselor. I know there is a lot of stigma around counseling, but therapy does work. It's not a magic word, but it does work. And the thing is, until someone is willing to seek help, they cannot be helped. If my husband has a problem and he's not willing to find help, no matter how much I want him to be helped, it will be very hard. So the need for help has to come from within you. It has to be self-driven.
So you must want to be
helped for you to find help. And there are many avenues of finding help. In fact, I realized that even if you go online, and look, because I was looking, how are there any mental health support groups, for men? I don't know whether they are entirely for men, but I actually came across a few. And these people didn't tell me to mention them on radio, or I didn't even know they existed. I'm just mentioning them because I saw them as I did my research. I saw there are some support groups. I saw one called Mental 360, another one called Oasis Africa, and another one called Befrienders Kenya. Befrienders, like befriend us, not us. They befriend. There are people who befriend. Befrienders Kenya. Right. So I feel like there's a lot of help out there.
Some time back we had this Chama cha wanaume.
Chama cha wanaume.
Ilikuwa chama cha maendeleo ya wanaume.
Ya wanaume. Ya wanaume ilikuwa?
Hata kulikuwa na chairman. Maendeleo ya wanaume, something like, because they were to fight for the plights of the Kenyan men who were suffering either in domestic violence, those who've been beaten by their wives, wale ambao wanapitia shida nyumbani. But even mentioning this, people don't know chama cha wanaume. So it sounded so much masculine, like it's wanawake tu that are the ones who can have chama cha wanawake. So what can we do to society in order for the society to see that also men need help?
It takes you and me, Dan, and everyone who is listening. You see, like I am raising boy children.
Yes.
And one of them is way younger because he's 11. So it has to start early to let them know that you don't owe anyone to man up. You don't have to be a macho man. If you need to cry, you cry. If you feel you need help, speak out and say that you need help.
You're right.
And I think the problem comes. In fact, I saw that the middle-aged men, middle meaning from around 35 to 64, I realized that they are 4 times more likely to commit suicide. 4 times. The statistics show that they 4 times commit suicide. Because probably that time when they were growing up, the society was unkind. The society, they had no one to tell them that it was okay to be emotional, to break down, to cry. And while there isn't much we can do to the society, it takes you and I who is aware to raise awareness in our small way or big way, so that the men who hear us, the women who hear us, the society that hears us understands that we are breaking our men by over-expecting from them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. This is Agnes Kahero. She's a counseling psychologist right here on Pearl Radio, and we're talking about men and mental health. If you have any question whatsoever, you can text me on 0702-969-969. You can also call live in studio through the number 0701-969-969. Mwanaume makmende, mwanaume wenu kujikaza, mwanaume ni kujitia nguvu. But at what point do you get unasema man, even after surrendering to Jesus? Unajua hata wanaume kanisani kulia inakuanga ngumu sana, hata kujisurrender kwa Mungu. Yeah, like surrender to God. You're like, no, you're a man. Why are you crying? A man is supposed to be strong. A man is supposed to remain. Unalia kwenda ndani. Tunalia kwenda ndani. That's why probably men are dying mbio sana.
Yeah. And I am here to shout it from this mountaintop of Pearl FM.
Yeah.
You do not owe anyone kukua hivo.
Yeah.
Speak out, cry, break down, yell, whatever.
But usually crying, unajua kwanza hiyo area ya kucry. How do you cry as a man? Like, unajua there are different ways of crying. You know, and the different ways that make men and women. There are those, kuna ile kulia.
How do you cry, Dan?
I mean, what kind of crying?
How do you cry?
Like, what kind of crying? Because perhaps in public, it's good to cry, but also how is this man supposed to cry? Maybe the children are there, because there's so much expectations that have been put on a man by the society, and also you find that children are looking up to you. Like, if dad is strong, then I can also be strong. So how do you cry? How do you release yourself? Ndio hizi usipatwe na misongo ya mawazo. Is there unasema basi because you cannot cry in public because there's so many things surrounding. Mtoto umefutwa kazi, umefika kwa nyumba, what has happened? Nimefutwa kazi. Because you want to cry. Look, what are the parameters? I mean, what are the boundaries? Even as we say, man, wache kulia walie, like ndio hapa tubakishe heshima yetu.
But you see, even as a woman, even if you have lost your job or whatever has happened, you won't come crying like that, you know. Well, sometimes you cannot control emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah. But at the same time, you cannot premeditate emotions, you know. Yeah. So it's just that self-awareness. This is my breaking point. Yeah. Ikikuwa hivi, ikifika hapa, mimi ninakuwa hivi.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo, kwa sababu najua nitakuwa hivi, wacha nipitie huko. Let me take a while in the car.
Yes.
Or but just let it out.
Yes.
Yeah. It just needs to be let out. Yeah.
All right.
And don't be ashamed to be known that you cry.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a human being.
Yeah, we have
God created those tears.
We have our president. We know he doesn't shy away from expressing his emotions.
I think he is well informed. About these things, men and emotions. Yeah.
All right.
It's okay for men to show emotions.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'd like to look at some of the signs that you might be going through some mental health issues.
There are a few signs that I'm going to mention. It's not an exhaustive list, really, but you will find that someone begins to isolate. So isolation, and it's an otherwise social person and all, but then you start feeling, I just want to be alone. That is a sign that needs to, make you question yourself. Yeah, and then increased substance use. You find that you're just drinking, or, other drugs. You have heightened use of the same, higher than you were doing before if you're someone who takes alcohol and drugs. Yeah, so if you find yourself drowning deeper and deeper, there is a problem. Then there is irritability, or you become so you just become irritable, even over small things, yeah. And then there are some men who may increase sexual activity. You know, it's like letting off the steam. So they will increase the sexual activity. There are those who will engage in reckless behavior and poor decision making. Yeah, some will even manifest with irregular or unusual body aches. They start feeling pain in some parts of the body that were not there before. Then irregular sleeping patterns, disinterest in activities that there before were of interest to them. Yeah, so those are some of the things that you notice, and they should make you realize there is a problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before we come to the remedy, probably substance abuse. Unajua kuna wengine labda wanakunywanga kahawa ama koko kidogo kidogo ama chai. Sasa niki-increase intake yangu kwa sababu chai, tea has is it caffeine? Nicotine. Coffee is done which has caffeine.
Yeah.
So because definitely there's a way it works on my body. Does it also mean that mimi ambaye ni mlokole, born again, who does not consume alcohol or any other substance, ikifika nipata tu napenda tu chai, nataka chai kwanza si kutoka Maragoli, naongeza tu chai every time, can it be a sign probably?
It depends on why you're doing that.
Yeah.
Because if you wake up one day and you usually take 3 cups, being the Maragoli you are, maybe you are not good enough until you do at least 3 cups.
Yeah.
Then you wake up and take 10 cups. Don't you think that's a problem, Dan?
I think
you need to find what is happening to me. It may not be a mental issue.
Yes.
But but definitely might be saying something to you.
Yeah.
You need to check where there is a problem. Yeah.
Okay. So now, what role does society, the societal expectations of masculinity play in men's mental health? Because there's the expectations. Society expects us to do this. What role should it play now moving forward in order for us to change the the conditions?
The society should make it clear to the men. They need to know that it is okay to talk about their feelings.
Yeah.
It is okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
It is okay to break down. It is okay to need support. It is okay to be vulnerable. And it is okay to go for therapy.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is okay to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
It is okay to go for therapy. It is okay. Because there are people who believe that as long as you're born again, you just go to church, let your pastor pray for you, and you're good. What do you advise such?
It is really good to go to church and have the pastor pray for you, but it is important to seek professional help. Yeah.
Okay.
You see, God is the giver of every good thing.
Yeah.
So he's the one who makes some doctors, some pastors, some psychologists like me, and each one of us has our place in the society. So you do not want to go and try to insist that the pastor does what the psychologist should do. Yeah. And if you realize that you need this kind of help, if I need spiritual help, I will go to my pastor or to my friend Wamboi, who I know is born again and we share the same faith and all. But if I feel I am emotionally and mentally unstable, I will go to a psychologist. If I am sick, I will go to the hospital. Yeah.
You go to the hospital, go to the pastor, pray for you, and then you go to the doctor to treat.
You see, when Jesus healed this man who was blind, by putting mud on the eyes, what command did he give him immediately after that? He told him, go to Siloam and wash off. So I believe there is the place for praying when I am sick, and there is the place for going to Siloam. And going to Siloam is not a lack of faith on a believer's part.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to the question that we had here as we slowly wind up the conversation. How would you help a man who has been betrayed by their confidant after being vulnerable to them?
It is sad that the person they would call the confidant is the one that betrayed them. This is life, Maze. Things happen. But I would say that feel the disappointment. Feel the disappointment and deal with it. Yes, I am at this point. I am hurt. I am disappointed. Admit your feelings. Feel them. All of them. And then don't stop there. Do the next right thing. The next right thing would probably look like seeing a different person, a friend or a therapist. When I am using therapist and psychologist and counselor interchangeably, meaning the same thing. Yeah. So it may be time for them to step out of home and accepting that they have been betrayed, that they have been hurt, and seek help from other sources. Yeah, because there is a lot of help out there, Dan. That is what I would want men to know. There is a lot of help out there. Let us not be afraid to speak out and to seek help. Yeah. Very
important. Now, finally, how can we support some men who are hesitant to seek for mental health? Support.
I think the only thing we could do is just keep raising awareness. Yeah. And if there are men we know, by speaking to them directly or to their significant others. I know some friends even say that for their men, even when they are sick, going to hospital is a big deal. You know. But I think it's to just keep talking about it, keep raising the awareness and demystifying, demystifying seeking for help. Making them understand that it is all right, it is the normal thing to do. And as much as women seek for help, men and women are human beings and they both need help.
All right. Okay, and women, please, when we come to you tukilia kabisa mtuangalie tofauti, just understand that we are
we will
we are men, so let's do this life together.
Yes.
Ukisikia nimejifungia bafuni, the husband is crying, don't go tell you baba yenu na yeye siku hizi amekuwa mtoto. allow them to cry.
Yeah, we will. My fellow women, you can hear this. Let us support our men. The society beats them and life beats them. Life is hard. They till the hard ground for us. So we should be willing to support them, to cover them when we need to cover them. And to encourage them.
Okay, the only beating we need is your love and your support. Beat us with love, beat us with support.
Exactly. Yes. Okay. Yes, I agree with you.
Right, if you're there and you're listening today, therefore understand that men are weak emotionally. Mukituona tubebe na heshima yote. Kwa sababu honestly men are struggling out there because even in terms of opportunities, even when going to high school, I remember when we were going to high school, the girl child angepatiwa entry ingekuwa like 2 points below.
I thought about that when I was thinking about this show. I remembered that. I don't know whether that is still the case.
I don't know whether it's still happening because it's not the same.
I remembered that. And it's difficult. I think the societal expectations are crazy on men. And I am thinking, I'm actually about to birth something that is going to take care of the younger the younger children. Okay, it will be boys and girls, but I have in mind that from around 13, when you speak to these children and let them know that it's okay to break down, it's okay to show emotion, when we start early, then we have less problems when they are grown up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Perhaps some shout outs and your final words.
Okay. Of course, shout out to my immediate family, Jemo, Manu, Mwai, and Nate. And I have many other children, like the ones in Sounds of Worship.
Wow, good
and many friends I know who are listening and cheering me on. Yeah, a big shout out to them.
Okay.
Yeah, and my parting shot.
Yes.
Dear men, it is okay to ask for help. You don't need to man up. You need to speak up.
Wow. You don't need to man up. You need to speak up.
96.9 FM, Pearl Radio.